In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/Bloody Happy Hour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody happy hour.
Oh, hey, y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
Bloody Happy Hour.
Bloody Happy Hour.
Happy 4th of July. You got... Nope, this is after 4th of July.
Yeah, it's like probably the 8th of July right now.
Happy
maybe,
8th of July.
11th.
Yeah.
I think it is
the
11th.
11th.
It
yeah.
is
It's
because
11th.
I'm actually not here right now.
I'm not
Neither
here
you.
either. We're both in Mexico.
We're both gone.
Hopefully Hurricane Burley.
Hopefully Beryl. I thought it was called Beryl.
Oh, Beryl, probably.
I've called it Bertha. I've called it...
Hopefully he's not going to take either one of us and we'll be back. But this week? Next week, you guys are going to get a repeat episode because we are not recording the week that we are on vacation.
Yeah.
So, you'll get a surprise.
A surprise. What else? Do we have a Patreon episode that's coming out?
Yes. So what you will get if you're on Patreon is a bonus episode on Patreon, and we are just celebrating 4th of July early. Me and Caroline have on our
so
USA
patriotic
hats.
She's gripping that pole real tight right now.
And we got some tequila and some club soda and some lime, and we're just going to have happy hour. We're going to talk about anything. So if you want to tune in and listen to what our
conversations sound like outside of the podcast, you're going to be like, oh, they're pretty similar all the time.
That's basically actually how they are.
So tune in, and then maybe join us next time where we can go live and do a Patreon live happy hour.
That would be fun.
All right. What else? Is there anything else? Should we update them on Sweet Pea's new purchase?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Because, basically it's
they're going to follow it all.
whenever you turn up missing, and Sweet Pea has bricks, and he got zip ties, and now we got the ski
A
mask.
ski mask. Sweet Pea was like,
Y'all, this thing is
was like-
gray. It looks like a head condom
oh, yes.
with like opening
And
for
all
your
it's
eyeballs
just
and
the
your
eyes.
nose, maybe,
Yeah.
or I guess just your eyes.
Yeah.
It's literally like a robber mask.
And he got it. He was so excited.
I think it might be what the guy who I'm about to talk about in the story today wore.
Probably. You should have. I should have brought it.
You should have wore it. Oh my gosh. We should have.
But he brings it home and he's so excited. He was like, "Look what I got for when it gets cold." And he put it on, and I was like, first of all, you're not
Where are you
wearing that in public, and don't just have it in your car, because if you get pulled over, they're going to link you to a robbery.
Oh, facts.
2, why? Why would you do that? And he was like, it gets cold on the dock. And I said, you know what?
What? Listen, sir. Where do you think we live in Texas? I know it. One year it got cold, and now everybody trying to get ski masks and ski boots. No.
He was like, I think I need to get Trenton. I says, no, you're not going to get my
No.
kid shot. But I was like, you know what? Let me take a picture of this because I got to send it to Caroline. And he was like, what? And I said, this is just too much. You got zip ties. You want to sink things in tanks with bricks.
I
And
mean,
now a ski mask. And he
I'm
said,
not-
fuck you and Caroline.
I'm the one to go towards the red. I recognize these are 3 red flags. So at least it's out there.
He
We
says, I'm a
know.
working man. Y'all just don't understand. We just need to
Excuse
track
me,
if
sir. Just because I don't wear ski masks and buy bricks and zip ties does not mean I don't work.
Okay, so where are we going today, and what are we talking about? And
Well, we're going back to Massachusetts, but
shits.
but it's not for Karen Reed, and we talked about that on the Quickie, so we don't even talk about it anymore. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm not talking about it anymore. And then we're kind of going to travel around because this guy just gets around and he does all the things, and we're even going to like San Francisco. We might even take a trip to Alcatraz.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's go. This is mid-afternoon, March 7th, 1983, at some fancy bank in Massachusetts. I cannot say it.
I think we're saying it right.
I actually think we are too. Some of the workers, they're expecting the, armored truck to come in and do the usual cash pickup and stuff. And just ahead of schedule, there's these 3 older uniformed guards that come into the bank, into the building, and they walk up to the teller, and they stand out because they just seem a little older. And they're like, typically the guards are like younger guys, and maybe these people, they just stand out to the tellers and the manager and stuff like
They're
that.
like, oh, this is probably their last day before retirement.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, well, the guards approach them. They get buzzed into the little cash vault, and then the shift manager notices something about 2 of the guards.
Okay.
They're wearing these obviously fake mustaches.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if it was bad glue. Like, I don't know if, like, on the way there, it was, like, a little windy and it rolled up on the car ride. Or, like, I don't know what's going on. But bank manager, like, looks out in the parking lot. And he's like, wait a second. There's no armored truck out there. What? There's no armored vehicle. So he's like, hey, 3 amigos over here, show me your IDs. And that's whenever they notice that one of the guys had a hearing aid in, and the other guy, and he flashes a gun, and he says, this is a holdup.
Ooh. Was it a hearing aid or was it a hearing device, like where he's talking to other people? Yeah. Okay.
And so they order everyone to get out of the bank. They lock the bank managers and the tellers in the front office, and they take all the cash, and they leave with about $500,000, and which today would be like $1.5 million.
Okay.
Because I'd be mathing. And so they rob this bank, and then within minutes they like leave. They disappear. They're gone. Okay. The FBI is called, and they try to figure out who was responsible, and they do, and they figure out almost immediately because it's this band of notorious thieves who had been hitting a bunch of banks and grocery stores around the country. Police have started calling this gang of people the Over the Hill Gang.
Okay. Because they're old.
Because they're so old.
Screw America's retirement. Screw Social Security.
The FBI doesn't realize that the mastermind behind these like robbery heists or whatever, the guy with the hearing aid, he's actually kind of a legend. And now let me tell you the story about the bank robber and escape artist of Forrest Tucker.
Forrest Tucker. Was there a movie made about this?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Liam Neeson that plays it?
No, there's Robert Redford.
Okay.
It's called The Old Man and the Gun. The Old Man and the Gun.
Oh.
Robert Redford, Sissy Spacek, Casey Affleck, and Danny Glover.
All legends.
I know. And I was like,
Especially Sissy Spacek.
I was like, wait a second, which one's Danny Glover? And I couldn't remember. And then I had to look up. And then I was like, Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of 48 Hours. Is it 48 Hours? The cop movie.
Oh, he was in a bunch of like Lethal Weapons?
Lethal, maybe.
Yeah, I saw that because I looked on IMDb. So, Forrest, he was born June 1920 in Miami, Florida. His parents were like struggling to make ends meet. When he was 6 years old, his dad ended up leaving the family. He's bouncing. He's like, no, mom can't provide for her and him. So Forrest goes to live with grandma. Okay, so dad's out of the picture. He's 6 years old. He goes to live with grandma. She lives in Stuart, Florida. It's about 100 miles from Miami. And he starts living with grandma, and he just is like super crafty and creative. He starts making things out of scrap metal and wood. He builds himself a canoe.
Wow.
He's like
very
basically
hands-on.
very hands-on. It's this canoe that he builds is so well constructed. It works. It floats. Like he teaches himself how to play instruments. He can play the saxophone.
Wow.
He can play the clarinet, and like he's just excelling. He's just.
But does he do shitty in school?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know that I don't even know if he goes to school. There's nothing about school. He just starts stealing shit. So when this is really bothering me. So at 9 years old, I feel like you can't hear. It keeps sagging. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. At 9 years old, it's like 1929, which is the Great Depression.
Okay.
So things are getting a lot worse for everybody because they
Yes.
real depressed and they ain't got no monies. So Forrest starts hearing about all these like famous outlaws and criminals, and he's like super inspired by them. So he starts getting into trouble. He's like 16 years old, and this is the first time he steals a car, and he gets arrested for stealing the car. So he's taken to the jail. He is then put in a holding cell. From there, he's moved into the interrogation room. And this is whenever he sees his chance to escape. Okay. And he just sprints out of the room, and he gets out of the police station and runs away.
And he's 16 years old.
16. Bye.
Wow. Smarter than everybody.
So this is his first of many, many, many escapes. So the police find him, and a few days later, he's hiding in an orange grove. It's just a citrus grove. It's a field of oranges.
Love it.
I know. I mean, he's trying to get his vitamin C.
There's orange groves in Massachusetts?
Apparently there are, because that's where he was hiding. He's just stuffing his face full of all these oranges, and I don't blame him. I'm sure they were delicious. Except for that's where the police find him. They find him orange-handed in the orange grove, and they arrest him and they take him back to jail. But what they didn't realize is while he's on the lam, you know,
What is on the lam?
Like,
in the cop car?
No, while he's like on the
run?
on the run.
Okay.
On the run. Yeah, that's like a saying.
Okay.
Because I know a bunch of it's driving me crazy. Okay. So he's on the lam, and what they didn't realize is that while he was on this lam, not an actual lamb, but like a fake lamb, he picks up a couple of hacksaw blades. He creeps to the police station. He slips them through the window of the jail because he knew he was going back to jail.
What? How did they get? He pretended like he had to pee.
I'm going to tell y'all about everything that I'm going to tell you in this story. You're going to think this is made up or make it up, as I like to say. This is all real facts.
Real stuff.
This
I'm
is
gonna watch
real facts.
Is Robert Redford Forrest?
Yes.
Is his name Forrest Whitaker?
Yes. I keep calling him Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, but it's Forrest Gump. No, it's Forrest. Forrest Hacksaw.
Hacksaw.
No.
You just
Forrest Tucker. Tucker Carlson. Forrest Tucker. Okay. I like the name Forrest.
I like the name Tucker.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. So he gets this hacksaw. He goes and he like slips him through the window of the jail, and he ends up getting picked up by the cops. A few days later, he's put back into jail. But now he's like, I got my hacksaws.
Think about movies back then. The jail, like there'd be a window, but there'd just be steel bars
Yes.
in between, so it'd always be open. There's no like pane, so he just slipped that shit in there. I bet he pretended like he had to pee. Can I go over here and take a whiz? And they gave him some privacy, and he just slipped it through the window.
He probably did. That's a good detail.
Let's just say that's it.
That's exactly what happened. So his first night back in jail, he gets with a couple other inmates, and they get the hacksaws, and they cut through the bars on the windows, and one by one they squeeze out the bars, and they escape.
Gone.
So he gone again. Forrest and one of the other inmates are found. They're found about an hour later.
Oh, hell.
In a nearby river, hiding with just their noses out of the water.
To breathe.
It's like they're little alligators. You just see little eyes. You just see little noses. I can only imagine. You can't make this stuff. This is like Dennis the Menace. This is wild. So now he's 16. Okay, he's arrested for a third time. Okay, and so they catch him in the river. He gets arrested again. Now he's sent to this strict reform school. I don't know who sends him there, but he's sent there. And this is where the guards would give you 3 days to callus up your hands or to just like get prepared for what's to come.
Okay.
And then the walking boss, I guess that's like a guard who walks around.
Yeah.
He would punish you and hit you with his cane or his fist if you didn't work hard enough. And sometimes the guards would take you in the bathroom, tie your hands behind your back, put the water hose pressured to your face so you would, and they would hold it there until you like start sputtering or until you couldn't breathe.
Oh, just because you weren't working hard enough?
Yeah, so just a little waterboarding activity. Yeah. So I don't think that was traumatizing at all. Mm-mm. So he stays there, and then he is released from there after 6 months.
Okay.
I would not want to be there for 6 months, but
that's zero time. Like he escaped twice. He stole a car and then escaped twice. Okay.
Yes. So now he's released. He's back, and guess what? He goes right back to stealing cars and taking them for joyrides. He continues this cycle over and over. He's in his 20s now, and he's on this consistent loop of stealing cars, going to prison, getting released, doing it again. Oh, this and this and this and all the things. So he's getting a little compulsive about this, just breaking the law. But he's really not a villain because he doesn't like
hurt anyone.
Yeah. He's not like being.
He's bored as hell.
He is
bored in the house and is in the house bored.
And he's very charming. He's very polite.
Okay.
He's kind of a showman because, you know, he's kind of a musician, you know, because he does the saxophone, plays the clarinet. And now we're learning that he actually, when he goes and he starts to rob these banks, he's like dressed up. Like he dresses in like these suits and he kind of wears wigs and fancy shoes. Like it's a whole setup, get up.
It's well thought out.
He's very well thought out. So in 1950, Forrest walks into Miami Bank. He goes up to the counter, politely tells the lady, "Hey, I'm intending to rob the bank right now."
Very calmly.
He's like, "Hey, I got a gun on my hip." And she's probably like, "Oh, hey, daddy." Like, yeah, I think that's what she said. And it's like, gun on my hip. And he ends up leaving the bank with about $1,300, which would be these
lot
days
of money.
$16,000.
Wow.
Wow, look at that math again. $16,000 in today's stolen money average. But he was not fully satisfied. He's like, you know, I could have done better than that.
Yeah.
You know, like the first time it's like, you like 500,000. Like
Next time I do it. It's like when you do a race and it's like, okay, I got this time. Next time I'm try to do a little bit better.
But instead of like next time, it was literally like a couple days later. He went back to the same bank.
Did he get a new suit?
No,
Did he go to the same teller?
This time he changed up his tactic.
Okay.
This time he took an entire safe.
Oh.
He must be so strong.
Wow. Did he hook up a car like on Fast and the Furious and just drive out?
I think he did.
I think so.
But then unfortunately, he was captured almost immediately after he was spotted on like the side of the road trying to open up the safe with a blowtorch.
Well, he didn't think that part out.
He didn't, but he's still young. He's still figuring it out, and
frontal lobe still developing.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have thought he would go back to the oranges, but I guess he decided
pecan orchard.
I'm just gonna,
pecan farm.
This is where he knows he needs to just go to some kind of farm, a food place. Yeah. Not just the side of the road. Like, that's not going to cut it. So, I'm sure he thinks it over.
Or back home, because Grandma's old. She's not paying attention to anything.
Grandma's old. She might even, who knows where Grandma is? She's probably one of the bank workers. Who knows? So, he's arrested. He's convicted. He's sent back to prison. But he doesn't care because he's an escape artist. He knows he's going to get out. He knows he's going to get out. So after a few weeks of being in prison, Forrest he's like grabbing his stomach. He's like, oh my God, my stomach. Oh, my stomach hurts. I gotta go to the hospital. My stomach hurts real bad. He's taken to the hospital and his appendix is removed.
Okay.
But while he's recovering from this operation, he is chained to the bed. But guess what? He knows how to pick a lock. He can pick a lock with almost anything. A pen, a paper clip, a piece of wire, nail clippers, a spring from a watch, like anything and everything. And after a few minutes, he done picked the lock and he walked out unnoticed. And all he had to do was get rid of one old appendix.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. He gone.
Wow.
I don't know if he has an invisible cloak. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And he was like, just one appendix, small price.
Yeah.
Like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, you don't even need it.
And you know what? He's like, I'm making my way straight to Cali.
Let's go, Cali.
So he goes straight up to Cali. This is when he starts to get this little persona and starts wearing all of his flashy clothes.
Okay, because now he's got a little bit more money and
he's looking stylish. He got these bright suits on. He finds a buddy to join in with them for the fun. And for the next 2 years, they hit bank after bank after bank. They're up and down California. They're wearing their sharp suits and their sparkling shoes and apparently wigs and all the things. Okay. Like, they are just living it up. Making headlines along the way. I guess they're saying they're scary and impressive men who terrorize their victims in this dramatic attire. But they're really just robbing the banks. They're not hurting anybody. They're
Sounds
just
very smooth and cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're smooth criminals.
Yes, they are actually legitimate smooth criminals.
The second week in a row, we got to mention a Michael Jackson song. Last week, Billie Jean. Now, Smooth Criminal.
You're good.
Let's try to go for 3.
Okay.
We're going to do it next week.
Okay, we're going to do it next week, too. Okay. So, where are we at? 1953. It's been 2 years later. So, him and this guy are going for 2 years. They're robbing these banks in their sharp suits. And he is on the like FBI's watch list or whatever, most wanted, I'm sure. They finally find him and they arrest him while he's robbing a bank in San Francisco. And while he's being booked into the police station, the FBI go and search his apartment.
Okay.
So they knock on the door, but some lady answered, some young woman answered, and she got a baby on her hip.
Oh.
And they're like, they're like, do you know Forrest Tucker? And she was like, no. And then they ask about like, well, who's your husband? Are you married? Who's your husband? Like, whatever. They're like, well, he's a successful songwriter and his name is Richard, but he's not home right now. And they're like, does this look like your husband? And they show a picture of Forrest and she's like,
yes.
That's him.
He's been lying.
Oh no. She starts crying and she was like, oh, and she's shocked to learn that her husband is not who
she thought they were getting all this money from him writing songs.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I mean, you don't really like make that much from just playing like a saxophone and clarinet, do you? I don't know, but she was shocked. The father of her child is here. I mean, she just is like, oh gosh, now that I know he's a career criminal. She tells them, she was like, I mean, he was just such a good man and a good provider.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one disadvantage. Maybe you can just deal with it.
So
he's going to escape from jail anyways.
Yeah, he is. Because guess what? He's sent right back to prison. But Shirley, she said no. And she annulled the marriage. She annulled the marriage. She raised the baby without him. And apparently Forrest had a bunch of regret about betraying his wife. They loved each other so much and blah, blah, blah. He tries to explain and all the things, but she gone. So now he's 33 years old. It's we're still in the same year, 1953. It's just in September. So it's later in that same year.
Okay.
And whenever Shirley's left him, he's sent back to prison. This prison that he's sent back to is kind of a big deal.
Okay.
It's called Alcatraz.
Oh, yes. How are you going to escape on Alcatraz? Alcatraz is an island in the middle of the ocean, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, okay.
I'm going to tell you. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's closed now, but, like, it is the rough. Yeah, it's still there because I've toured it, like, a lot, like, years and years ago. And the only way you can escape is you have to swim through these waters of the bay, which it's, rough. Very, very rough and very, very choppy. And they're like, nobody can swim that.
Okay.
Nobody.
Okay.
So police and prosecutors were like, we have the perfect place for him. We're sending him to Alcatraz. I was like, okay, well, that is an escape-proof prison. So that's a good choice. But I thought it was for, like, the worst of the worst. Mm-hmm. But, okay. So this infamous prison on an island surrounded with freezing cold, extremely dangerous water, San Francisco Bay. But Forrest is ready. And he's like, I am ready for this test. And he gets there and he meets an inmate named Teddy Green.
Okay,
Teddy Green was also a bank robber. And he was known for once breaking out of prison by packing himself into a shipping box and get mailed out.
Freddie.
He got mailed out.
I feel like there's a movie about this part right here, too. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone.
It could have been.
Escape Plan. That's what it's called.
It probably is. So they start scheming together and they start pulling off, like, think of a sponge, like with those little metal pieces on it, like those really like a rough sponge. They start pulling a steel wool sponge, scrubby pad thingies, and they start peeling off those little pieces and hiding them in their clothing to try to trigger the metal detector.
Okay.
So that it makes the metal detectors go off so that the prison guards will think that the detectors are defective. They just start
smart.
They'll
turn them off, maybe.
I guess, yeah, because then they start stealing tools from their workstations. I guess that makes sense. If you have metal detectors,
you can't
steal your stuff back. Yeah. So then they trip the metal detectors. they start
Criminals.
stealing these tools, and they're hiding them in holes that they carve out of their prison toilets. And they conceal these holes with putty. They got the putty. They also stole that from the prison supply. Then at night, they go into the toilets, remove the putty, take the tools out, and start working on digging a tunnel through the prison floor. And for a while, this plan seems to be working. But somehow, a prisoner who's in solitary confinement ends up finding out or hears them and rats them out. And then they are sent. Wait, let's see. Is this what? Oh. So the Alcatraz officials find all the tools that are hidden in the toilet, and they make a list of all these tools. We have a blowtorch. He loves a blowtorch.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you get. Anyway, he got a blowtorch, a bar spreader, a brace, a screwdriver, 1 or 2 pieces of wire, a pair of side cutters, and a piece of stone. I don't even know. I can't even begin to tell you. But then their punishment was to be thrown in the hole. And if you ever watch Orange is the New Black, the hole is not a good place to go. Or whatever show I watch, prison show. The hole. This is where the inmates go, and at least at Alcatraz, they are stripped naked. They're held in these rooms that are entirely made of concrete, floors and everything. They get food fed through like this little hole in the door, and their toilet is a hole in the floor. So you do not want to be there. It's basically there to punish and humiliate the prisoners. So over the next couple of years at Alcatraz, Forrest decides he's going to start reading the law books and getting to know the law, and he's going to start inundating the California court system with appeals and writs and legal rights and all kinds of things. So the local prosecutor's like, no, bro, this ain't happening. Reject. But then some fancy judge comes up and he's like, okay, I'll take a hearing. I'll take you in for a hearing. Okay, but guess what? So this is how he's going to get out of the Alcatraz, because he's got to go to the county jail. He's got to go to the county jail. So the night before. So he forgot
about his partner. He's like, I can't.
Oh, yeah, he done. He's like, oh, well, we tried and we tried.
Yeah.
So the night before he's scheduled to appear in court, he is transferred to the county jail, and which is a lot easier to get out of, a lot easier, more laid-back security system. So he gets there and he starts complaining about his pain in his lower abdominal. His
other appendix
or whatever, something else is really bad hurting. And so they put him in shackles and handcuffs, and they rush him to the nearest hospital. No one is looking. He grabs a pencil and he stabs himself in the ankle. So they'll take off the shackles, because now they have to take off the shackles to whatever, work on his ankle.
Gosh, he's dedicated to the cause.
He's dedicated. But he's still in handcuffs. So they take him to the x-ray room or something. He's on a gurney, and he's like just watching intently. He's watching where's the nurse. He's watching where's the guard. He's just like, he's just alert. Once this, the officer guy is distracted, the nurse is distracted, he doesn't have his shackles on. Mm-hmm. He jumps up off the bed. He's got his handcuffs on. He's wearing a nursing gown, ass out, and just gone.
Takes out. He's running.
Jumps off the gurney, runs to the hallways, out the door. Can't stop, won't stop. And he's gone for hours. He's on the loose. He's eventually tracked down.
No. I'm rooting for him.
This time, he's in the middle of a cornfield.
What is up with him and food fields?
I don't know. He's just he's all about the vegetation, this guy. I'm telling you. And he's just in this cornfield with his ass out in his gown with his handcuffs.
But it is hard to get found in a cornfield. I feel like these police...
Maybe it recently was cut. Maybe he just was like, I'm tired of running and I just need to take a nap, and he's just out there. Who knows? So, after that, he gets 23 years tacked on.
Still in Alcatraz?
He's still in Alcatraz, but actually he is now transferred from Alcatraz to San Quentin.
Oh.
Which is about 10 miles. It's like a infamous maximum security prison. It's about 10 miles north of Alcatraz at the top of the bay. And so now it's...
But is it in the middle of the water too?
No. It's like on one of the tips.
Okay.
So it's 1979, and he is 59. And he is in his cell, and he's looking out the window, and he sees these people rowing in the bay.
Yeah.
And there's like this fancy yacht club that's nearby. So it's these people on this like particular painted boat, rowboat, and he just notices like, okay, it's like there's a close by yacht club, and these people are out just getting their row on. Well, he gets a couple of inmates together, John and William. So it's Forrest, John, and William. And they start to get like scraps of wood together and like different electrical stuff that they find and furniture and paint and plastic sheets.
Damn.
Because they are trying to... They hide all of this in a box labeled office supplies. Okay, I don't know where they get this. I don't know. I'm just trying to tell you the facts. So it's August. They've been collecting all this stuff for, let's see, how long have they been collecting?
So he's recruited him another partner.
He's recruited two people. He has
partners.
John and William.
Okay.
So it's August, the month of August. Forrest, John, and William, they get together in wherever, in the hallway. They go to this wood shop at while they're in this jail. And John and William stand guard. Forrest goes into the shop, and he gets to like working out. He works out the different odds and ends because they've been stealing all of this stuff. So he's now going to build a boat.
Oh, that he's already perfected when he was 0 years old.
Yes.
And he was like, I should have thought of this a long time ago.
So he is building a boat that can fit the three of them, and he doesn't even use a hammer because it would be too loud. It would make too much noise. And instead, he pieces the boat together using tape and bolts.
Okay.
Tape. I don't know what kind of boat this is, but once the boat is built, Forrest has to paint it, and he paints it like the boat that he saw the people from the yacht club growing up in.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I mean, because he's obviously an artist too. So,
well, he wants to blend in.
Just wait. He doesn't have enough paint for the whole boat. So he just paints the side of the boat that the guards are gonna see.
Oh my goodness.
I'm dead with this guy. So he tries to figure all that out. And he's like, well, where are the towers? Where are they gonna see? And he stencils the words rub-a-dub-dub on the side. And then with the paint that he has left, he draws the yacht club logo on his and the other guys' prison-issued sailor hats and sweatshirts. I don't know what a sailor hat, but it's...
Yeah.
He is prepared.
Yes. Yes. Well thought out.
Very, very well constructed. Very organized. He could be a great event planner.
He would,
He's got all the fine details.
Logistics. He's got it all down.
Yes. So when he's finished, they put on their hats, carry their boat. Listen, don't ask me how they even get to the boat and make the boat. They get the boat out. They get on the boat. They are in the water, in the boat, with their clothes on, and they are just part of the yacht club now, okay? They exit the prison successfully. They access the water. They gone, and here they are on their boat. Perfectly constructed boat. No water leakage. It's sealed perfectly. It fits all three men, but it is choppy as in that water.
Yes.
And it's like super intense, super just like, I cannot imagine.
Where's their paddles? Do they have paddles? I'm sure.
I'm sure he built some paddles. Like how you have to have your paddles with the rowboat. So Unfortunately, the waves were a little unforgiving, and they kind of come over, and they end up flipping
Dumping
the boat
'em.
over, and the boat starts to sink. But they're they're trying to make their way with the boat to the shore, at least just to get to the shore. But one of the guards from San Quentin sees these people in this flipped over rowboat struggling and yells at them if they need any help. Y'all need any help? And one of the guys, William is like, we lost a couple of oars, but my Timex is still running. I don't know. It's and
trying to make them think like, oh, it's not a big deal.
Guard leaves them.
No help.
Guard's like, all right,
yeah,
have a good one, and lets them be. Sure enough, miraculously, they make it to the shore.
Love it.
And they go their separate ways. And then when the San Quentin finds out about these inmates on the loose, they got a manhunt going. They got a manhunt. John and William, unfortunately, they were recaptured pretty quick. But Forrest is nowhere to be found. What if Forrest was in the forest?
I was like, he better not go to nobody's field.
So soon after this, a string of robberies happened at banks, grocery stores in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana.
What? He's
And
going all around.
yes. Police don't make the connection because
Wait, say all the states again.
Arizona.
Oh, yeah, he went right in order.
Yes,
New Mexico.
Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and that, yeah.
Yes.
And the police don't connect these robberies to the missing prisoner from San Quentin because they're so hung up on the description of the perpetrator of these robberies because we're making a connection. The men who have been doing these robberies are much older than your typical than your average armed robber. I don't know the average age of an armed robber, but I'm assuming it's below whatever the age that he is, 60-something right now. And they don't expect the ringleader to be a 60-something-year-old man wearing a hearing aid. So we're back to this.
That's why he has a hearing aid.
And so police began referring to them as the Over the Hill Gang. So I'll tell you. So basically Forrest gets out, he gets a hearing aid, gathers some new friends because his old friends, they got taken back. They're in San Quentin, so now it's him and two other guys.
Okay, he just recruited some bank robbers.
He just recruited some other people, and
it's probably Otis Toole and
it probably is
Henry Lee Lucas. They would.
They would. He is like. And this is when he had decided we're getting the band back together. It's a different band, but we're still getting the band back together. And they're robbing these same banks. So a month alone, Forrest pulls off about 60 robberies by wearing wigs and makeup by following a few simple key rules. He looks for places near highways. He spends time scouting his target. So it's just like hunting your victim.
Yeah.
He makes sure that he stays very calm when he robs. He doesn't rush in there like in the Westerns, and he's not like, stick him up, give me all your money. La, 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 la. No, he's very calm. And he said the first sign of an amateur robber is when you get violent and when you get aggressive. So you need to stay calm. But he always has his gun.
Did he do a TED Talk?
Yes.
I feel like
he
this
probably
is his
should
TED
do a
Talk.
TED Talk. He, because he never would hurt anyone he never intends to hurt anyone. So his gun is kind of just used as a prop. But Forrest considers his hearing aid to be his most valuable tool.
Why?
Because he has it wired to a police scanner.
Gosh.
They
They should have hired him.
I know. You think they would have. And he's got no hearing aid. It is a full-on tapped police scanner earbud, so he knows whenever the silent alarm goes off on the bank, and he knows when the police are about to come.
Oh my goodness.
So then he knows exactly how
when
much
to
time
get out.
he has. Then Texas Police Sergeant John Hunt says that they, meaning him and his gang of old guys, were the most professional, successful robbers that he's ever encountered in all of his years on the force, and they are that they had more experience with robbery than he did in catching them. And
So just let them keep the money.
I know. So this is where all of this starts to change in 1983, and when he's in Massachusetts again doing this heist. And this is where we started the story.
Yes. Okay.
With the mustaches falling off and all those things. So while Forrest is like, his accomplices might have these wardrobe malfunctions. You know, they got the mustache. So he's like, okay, these dudes are like falling apart. The biggest problem was he was missing a very important part of his disguise. And while I thought it was going to be he was missing his hearing aid, apparently he had lost his wig in a recent snowstorm. So he decided to ditch the wig. And now the bank tellers can recognize him, and they can easily identify him.
Oh my goodness.
So he should have worn the wig.
He should have
got
bought another wig.
a
with all
new
this.
wig.
He robbed 60 banks. You had some money?
You'll find out how much money he does have. So at this time, Forrest has been out on the run and wanted for about 3 years. Mm-hmm. And he's finally tracked down in Florida, June of this year, whatever year that we're in now. And he's walking towards his car, and he's in a parking garage. And he starts like rushing, and he notices like police are running after. Like there's police coming, they're catching him. He's like, oh shit. So he starts running to the car. He gets shot in the arm, in the leg. He gets in the car, turns it on, puts it in reverses all the way back through this is like a legit, like,
wow. That's why they made a movie out of it. I'm going to watch the movie tonight.
He goes and he reverses all the way and through the parking garage, gets onto the street, crashes the car into I think this is where he crashed into a palm tree. Maybe that's later. But he drives to the street, crashes his car. He gets out. He starts like trying to run. You know, he's been shot. Lady sees him in the street, and I just have flashbacks of Singleton, of that lady who had all of her arms chopped off, and she's running the street, and those people are going to try to, they pass her up because they're like, oh, hell no, I ain't getting that bloody lady. Nope.
Yes.
This lady is driving in the car. So he's come out the parking garage, crashed his car. He's in the street, bloody. A lady with a baby in the car stops and wants to help him and take him to the nearby hospital because she thinks he got hit by a car.
She said this might be Jesus.
She did. She was way better. So he gets in the car, and as soon as he gets in the car, he does for the first time pull out his gun, and he says, he points the gun at her, and he grabs the steering wheel, and he was like, drive. And he's driving the steering wheel, and they go like half a mile, like not far at all. And so he's like, forget it, pull over, I'm gonna get out. Like he gets out, he rolls onto the ground, passes out because he's lost so much blood. So he immediately is taken to the hospital, which then he's taken back into custody, and now police decide that they're gonna go search his house in Florida, where he lives in this like retirement community. And they knock on the door, and they're greeted by this lovely lady in her 50s.
How long was he out? He got married. He's long enough to get married again?
He does the most. He's very charming, I tell you. He's very charming.
Well, I was thinking this is like within weeks, but this is within years.
It is within years, yeah. Because at this point, he's on the loose, 3 years?
Okay.
It's because he goes back and forth so many times. It's really hard to keep up with. So you just have to listen.
And he lives in a retirement community.
Yeah. And she tells police that her husband is named Bob Callahan. And he's a retired securities broker. And they're like, ma'am.
Is this your husband?
this is your husband? Because it's actually Forrest Tucker, and he is a notorious bank robber. He's been at Alcatraz and San Quentin. I don't know what all details they gave, but I would think they said that. And they're like, he's successfully broken out of prison like multiple times, and she's like, oh, I can't believe it. She can't believe it.
Yeah.
So Forrest is eventually sent back to San Quentin, where now he is known as the captain. Because
he is the captain.
He built a boat and escaped and was out for years. And he, loves his wife so much. He's like, wifey, I promise I can change, and I will not try to escape. I will not look at a way to escape. I will not.
Mm-hmm.
And
if she stayed with him? I guess.
Okay, yeah, for a little bit she did. So he starts filling out these legal appeals, and he's trying to get something.
No, just lay down. This is when it's time to lay down and just
do
your sentence.
No, ma'am. He gets his sentence reduced in half. And in 1993, Forrest is 73 years old, and he is released from prison. He and his wife settle in Pompano Beach, Florida.
Pompano
Beach, Florida, where he gives saxophone and clarinet lessons to the locals. He seemed to have turned his life around. He is super happy, madly in love with his wife, and he's just like, I love you, baby. But, once you just can't change. Once a convict, always a convict. Okay, so
they got low on funds.
This was not 1993.
Okay.
He's 73. Now we are 1999. He's gone a few years without doing anything.
Okay.
He's just been given those lessons. He's 78 years old now. He cannot resist.
He can't. And
He
he's like,
goes
we need some money.
straight up into this Florida bank with the bandana over his face, flashes a gun, demands all the money. $5,300, $10,000 today. Police are on his tail, and there's a high-speed chase.
And then he went against his whole MO.
Years old doing a high-speed chase.
Well, he should have at least just dressed up like he did before, like his old. That's what worked.
I feel like he was
just
probably
bored.
just walking down the street, and he's like, oh, God, there's a bank, there's a bank, there's a bank, there's a bank.
I can't resist.
He couldn't resist.
I think his life was too bored.
I think it was.
With clarinet
he was
lessons and missionary sex, probably.
Exactly.
Or any sex, because
no, it's
I
no
don't think we
back
had
shots.
blue pills.
There's none of that. No Hawk Tua spit on that thing. Ain't none of that either.
Nope.
So the police are on his tail. We're on a high-speed chase. This is when he crashes into the palm tree. And the police get him again. He's arrested again. And then October of 2000, we're like at yesterday.
He was born in the 20s.
I thought so too.
Forever.
He pleads guilty, and he is now sentenced to 13 years.
He's going to die.
But somehow you're right.
He died.
In May 2004, just a couple days or weeks shy of his 84th birthday,
Wow.
Forrest Tucker dies behind bars where he just loves spending all of his time. And guess what? He died a millionaire. A millionaire. He had tons of sports cars. He had all money. I mean, and I don't know if maybe the movie will tell us about the wife, if the wife got all of it.
Usually if you go to jail for something like that, they take everything, whether it's what you stole or not. They'll freeze all your accounts. Maybe they just didn't have that
unless they didn't
technology
have any
back then.
Yeah.
You just got to keep it all.
Over the Hill gang, and he let's see, they searched the vehicle. They found burglary tools, weapons, police scanners, tons of cash, and that's the story of Forrest Tucker, the escape artist and bank robber extraordinaire.
All because his mama gave him up.
Yeah,
because she didn't have any money, and he just felt like he needed to always make sure there was money.
And and they went through the Depression, and so he just got that was his lifestyle. But he wasn't a bad guy. He was just, I mean,
A thief is
a
pretty
thief
low.
it's pretty, you're right.
It's pretty low, but he was, I mean, he didn't hurt anybody. He wasn't violent.
Yeah,
He wasn't.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
a thief.
Yeah, and just, yep. I'm looking at seeing what the movie. It's kind of, there's some
What's it
parts
called?
of
An
it.
old man in a.
I'm trying to the old country for a new dog or something. Let's see. What's it called? It is
Old man in a.
the old man and the gun.
And a gun.
The old man and the gun.
I wonder if the gun was even ever loaded.
Look at, that's him and that's Robert Redford.
Wow, love it, love it, love it. Totally different story, so good.
Totally
no
different
killing.
vibe, and it was pretty entertaining. I thought. I really hope in the movie that the people's mustaches fall off.
Yes.
And we find him in the orange field eating oranges.
Eating oranges.
And I want to see the blowtorch busting up the. It is on. I did look it up, and it is on Prime.
Okay.
So
Love it. Good story. Good story.
There you go.
That's our first bank robber
I think so.
ever. Yeah. And we covered a lot of states.
We did.
Yeah.
We didn't have to go to any of those states because we covered them all. So there you go.
Love it, love it, love it. Good story. No blood for you guys today, and you're welcome. You probably needed a break from all the craziness.
Yeah. No Scissor Sisters. Nothing.
No, none of that. None of that.
None of that.
And then we gave you a little bit of Michael Jackson again, so that's always a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're a Patreon, tune in for bonus, and if not, we'll see you next week for a quickie and a repeat episode, and then we'll get right back on track. Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production. In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.